Good morning, everybody. It's Tom again. This is the 17th. This is our 10th day of riding, starting out of Missoula and heading to the east. We've had a couple of layover days, and we've just left a place called Circle. In some of my previous comments and videos, talked about Circle and the Circle area being part of the spiritual part of our ride, because my view before coming out here is that there wouldn't be much out here, and it would be pretty desolate and dry and like a desert. The reality is it's not really desolate and dry. It is desolate, but and I guess it really is dry too, but it's not dry like brown dry, so there's still a lot of green. It's been a wet spring. And the interesting thing is the last 3 evenings we've had strong, very strong thunderstorms. I was caught in one of those, just the beginning part of a thunderstorm with at least 30 mile an hour winds. And every time we've had one of those, the winds have kicked up. Yesterday evening, which was the third one we've been in Circle, it was shaking the RV pretty good, with some gusts that I would bet are probably close to 30 miles an hour. But as you can see today, I'm going to turn this around. We're headed toward Glendive. It's one of the shorter days, 49 miles, and the weather, just as it's been almost every day now since we've entered this part of Montana, has been blue skies and with a few wispy clouds, but then you see stuff forming. So here's what the country looks like. It's a homestead over there, an old farm's got an oasis back behind us with a railroad running next to it. And then this is where I came from this morning. I'm only 6 miles out, but at 49 miles I've got a lot of time. So that's Circle back there in the distance, pretty good ways out, kind of tucked down in a valley. And then as we move on around, you can see some of the farms and what the countryside looks like. Way out there, you can see some of the power lines. And you can see those power lines. This is now going to the east. You can see those power lines just go on for kind of infinity. That's a good sign, because it means I can see them, and it means the route's getting flatter. When they disappear over the horizon, that means I'm going to go down into a dip I got to come out of. So this is a 360 of today, and then back around to the bike. And this is my mode of transportation. At some point hopefully maybe do a little funny video. You think about a lot of stuff when you're out here on the road, and I got to thinking I'd follow these mileposts and see how close they are to my GPS unit here. And what I started noticing is I'd go along at 5-6 miles, and they'd be right on the money, 0.47, hit 0.47 every time. I mean, like 36.47, 37.47, and so on. And then all of a sudden, they'd start moving. They'd move either further out, 53, and so on. And so I'll share some of my funny thoughts about, like, if I was really obsessive and compulsive, I go, well, that's just not right. I mean, this is just not right. I mean, they're off, 0.06. We're gonna have to do something about that. And of course, I'm kidding when I say that, but anyway, I think about that, and I think about, what are some of the truck drivers thinking about how stupid I am to be out here, and then I think about, as well, as a topic, AARP's got a book the CEO wrote about. It's called Disrupt Aging. And when I think about that book, I read it, and I think about probably many of my friends, not necessarily all my biking friends, but many of my friends just think I know they must think I'm really friggin' nuts for being out here. And to a degree, I am. And I'll explore why I do this stuff sometime, maybe. But You know, I started this trip still limping from a fractured hip. I am almost not limping now, and the pain has gone. I didn't do it without the doctor's approval. He said as long as it didn't hurt and I'm on the bike, do it. It didn't hurt on the bike. It did hurt to walk, but even that now is subsiding. So I pushed that envelope, and I think in a small way, maybe a big way, I disrupted aging. I was on the bike in less than, well, right at 6 weeks, and I was on the road doing this tour in 3 months. So I guess the moral of that story for me is a lot of people have these mental models and they just accept them and they move comfortably into old age. And I guess maybe that's part of the reason I do this. I'm not going to move comfortably into old age and just sit down in a friggin' chair and drink friggin' whiskey every day and do nothing but watch TV. So that's me. That's just me. It doesn't make me better than anybody, but it's just the way. That's one of the reasons I'm doing this. I'm trying to, and hopefully am, disrupting the image of aging at 67 years old. That's it for me. That's my little serious comment for the day. I will say, take a look out there. You can see those clouds. You get to a point where you're also thinking about weather. Some of my meteorology comes back. You can see a few cumuli already developing. And that says it's going to be rain again. So we hope to be in Glendive. And guess what? We're approaching 600 miles now. We hit 500 yesterday. So, and now we're looking at North Dakota, and then a new state, Minnesota, and then Wisconsin. And we think we're probably going to go across the Lake Michigan in a ferry and cut a week out of this trip. All right, everybody, that's it. Hope you enjoy this. Pass it on. Subscribe if you haven't already, all that stuff. I'm not making any friggin' money out of this thing, and I don't want to make any money out of it. I want to document it. So, and if you don't like it, of course, don't watch. Okay, have a good one, everybody.